Haven't made a video in a long time. Things are still happening here, but my enthusiasm to make videos has kind of faded a little bit. What you're looking at is a new used Chandler, I think it's an 11-ton turkey litter spreader. We ended up buying this used, barely used, because we're having troubles getting our turkey litter spread in a timely manner. And I guess we could save a little bit of money doing it. A couple things are wrong with it. The PTO shaft, there's half of it right there. The first part of the PTO shaft problem was the part that attached to the tractor, the splines. There's a 21 spline, well, 1 3/4 inch, but 21 spline, 1000 PTO, 1000 RPM PTO. That part's fine. The splines on the half that connects to the tractor were torqued in a way, I'll show you in a second, that made it impossible to fit on. So I need a new PTO shaft. I ordered one a couple days ago. It should be here today or tomorrow. It's $1,100. It's a CV, constant velocity, because we turn corners. The second half of the shaft that's on there, in theory, there's just a pin I pull out, a shear pin, a 3/8 inch bolt that goes through the side. In case you hit something or it gets stuck, it'll snap. It won't snap the drive line. I should be able to just take that out and then pull it off by hand, or in this case I ended up attaching to a chain to the back of the tractor and putting it through that knuckle right there and pulling on it. I was dragging the trailer. So I thought, okay, I'm put penetrating oil on it, and then I got air hammers and I was banging on it. I got it to move 1/4 inch. Before I did all this, I called Chandler and looked at the parts. I said, I talked to the parts department, is there some kind of a snap ring or another retaining feature? And it's not particularly rusty. It's just seized on there. So I've been banging on it and pulling on it. I can't really introduce heat there because there's a bearing right there. It's full of grease. I don't want to catch it on fire, melt the bearing. You have to replace that too. So I've made this cut. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but I've made cuts. The advice of the Chandler guy at the parts department, he says, well, you've got to just cut it off. So I made a cut most of the way through there. I don't know if you can see this, the depth of this thing. I've got it cut, and it's still a little bit right there. I have to cut more. I'm using this die grinder, right angle cutoff wheel. And it's tedious because my compressor really can't keep up with it. I don't do a lot of air tool work. But on to the end of the tractor that attaches, let's see if it'll show up. About 3/4 inch back, 2 centimeters back from the entrance. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. There's a series of what looks to be V lines in the video. And what they are, somebody put the tip of, they only attached this PTO shaft, they didn't slide it all the way on, and they ran the tractor and they torqued the front 3/4 inch ever so slightly of this internal spline, making it impossible to line up. So there's a raised burr times 21. And so it needs to be replaced. You can't just buy this knuckle. And there's a needle bearing there, a universal joint. In theory, you could rebuild it if you could buy the knuckle, but it's not for sale. I can't track it down in a timely manner, so we bought the whole assembly. And it's one of these simple things that turns out to be more than you bargained for. I've spent basically a day getting this ready. On the next step of this, in order to calibrate this thing, to get the wheels spinning properly, you have to adjust the hydraulic flow coming to the conveyor, the chain conveyor that drags the litter toward the back, and you want the spinners going at a certain RPM to get to be able to use the charts to tell you how much you're putting out. So you need 700 RPM, and you measure that with a digital tachometer or a tachometer. So once we get the PTO shaft installed, The spinners are on the back of this thing, so the way it works, for those people who, most of my audience, I don't know if they're farm people, but there's a chain, this chain is along the bottom, and it's turning slowly, 15 revolutions per minute, and it's dragging all the litter toward the back. And then there's a gate here that can go up and down, hydraulically controlled from the cab. You have to maintain a certain speed, and you can put out a certain rate per acre, so many tons per acre. So that's one of the hydraulic features. The other one are these spinners, and they're controlled by another hydraulic pair, but in order to vary the speed, you need to adjust the flow from the cab of the tractor so many gallons per minute. And once you figure out where that is, you want 700, you set the flow in order to get 700 RPMs. And I need the tachometer to do that. The tricky thing about this, not being a hydraulic, you need to maintain, back up a second, you need to maintain 6 miles an hour, and you can leave this setting at a certain height, this hydraulic gate here. It's going to be tough to maintain 6 miles an hour. It's not critical, but every year there's 400 or 500 tons of litter. So this is going to get filled up 40 or 50 times, and I'll use that loader tractor over there to do so, and I'll pull this spreader with that tractor, and then it'll get worked in. That's long enough. Wow, 6 minutes. See how long these videos, they take like 4 hours for me to upload. My connection here is terrible. I get a half a megabyte per minute or second. It's terrible. But I live in the country. It's a beautiful day out here. It's probably 75 degrees. And the corn looks really good. It's still a little green, so it's probably a month away, 3 weeks, a month away. End of October, I'll be able to combine it. So I'm looking forward to that.